Good morning, Mr. Baran Shari, NUS trustee, esteemed faculty members, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, graduates of NUS class of 2025. Congratulations, graduates. You deserve to celebrate today. I'm very pleased to join in your celebration. I didn't attend my own MBA graduation myself, so I'm coming back to do it the second round. The question is, why am I addressing you? I may have graduated from this program in 2000, 25 years ago, but I never worked in business. So I can't tell you how to be a business leader. Instead, I think I will hope to share some uncommon perspectives to provoke thinking. And my KPI today is that you remember something from what I said sometime after today, because most of these speeches, I think, nobody remembers. But let me start by expressing gratitude to the value of the NUS MBA program to me. First, the MBA program probably saved me from depression. I started my MBA part-time in July 1997. The same week, my then-girlfriend actually died from complications from leukemia. And I journeyed with her through the disease, bone marrow transplant, short-lived recovery, and a sudden decline. So it was critically important that I became so preoccupied and so distracted with the 3-hour classes 3 times a week, with reading, with homework. I had no time to grieve. So sometimes I think you've never heard this, faculty members, that the MBA, the learning, is therapy. Secondly, the MBA helped me, I think, avoid a big mistake. I did Professor Siu Kai Chong's very stimulating financial management course. For him, I did a project studying a new F&B franchisee, analyzing IRR, payback period. The truth was, I actually really wanted to set up an F&B thing for myself at some point. This owner was losing money massively. He had a great product, incredible coffee, but insufficient covers. His franchise bled, and he closed down 6 months after burning through $500,000. And this is in the year 98. So even being passionate about F&B, the MBA taught me, don't go into F&B. So please, unless it's your passion, unless you have money to burn, don't do it. So when I see restaurants opening up, I wish the owners would get an MBA first. Learning is knowing what not to do. Thirdly, I think MBA skill sets were enormously useful when applied to other areas later in my life. I discerned that the private sector was not my calling. I used my business and investment skills in other ways. In the public sector, I helped create the first social enterprise fund in Singapore in 2002 to support new social businesses. In fact, I hired a business development manager in the Ministry of, the Ministry of Community Development and Sports. Later, the skills helped me, at the Ministry of Finance to review the spending rule from our government reserves, now called the Net Investment Returns Contribution. I did a lot of finance courses. I think a lot of finance professors here, and I learned a lot from them. And even the philanthropy sector, where I've been full-time since 2008, I work with people with a lot more resources than they need, philanthropists, not just to give money away, but also to solve social and environmental problems, often using business principles. So for example, right now, with a few Asia Philanthropy Circle members, we are developing a first nonprofit, but fully financially sustainable, purpose-built assisted living facility that prioritizes dignity, autonomy, and flourishing. And this financially sustainable model has employed a lot of the MBA business skills that I learned. So sometimes learning can be applied to related fields, not the original ones you had in mind. So to recap, from my MBA, I discovered that learning can be therapy, that sometimes the best learning are lessons on what to avoid, and that you can transfer learning to many different contexts. But what did I wish the MBA had taught me but didn't? And this is not because the MBA program is deficient in any way, but it's not the objective of MBAs. Let me mention three, and they'll be around life's purpose, our life purpose, why we do what we do, how we phase our life's work when we are mostly going to live to at least 90 years old, if not 100, and how we create shared value in society. So first, purpose. In life, we are constantly activity and achievement focused. We zero in on the what and its KPIs. We rarely examine the why. Why did you do a graduate business program? The common answers are career advancement, increasing earning potential. But why are these important? And here's a useful thought experiment. When you die, what would you like said at your eulogy? Would it be how hard you worked throughout your life? Probably not. Or your net worth? Most probably, your why is likely about a better sense of well-being. And it's not just about money, it's not just about positive emotions, but about meaning, belonging to and serving something bigger than yourself, engagement, enjoying what you're doing, and positive relationships, having people you care about and who care about you. So research tells us that having more money, possessions, credentials make little difference to happiness once it passes a pretty low threshold. So focus on being more. And we all constantly need to reassess our priority and focus on work that gives true meaning in an area that we are passionate about and that serves the common good. And continue to nurture healthy relationships. For me, my life is faith-driven. It is not enough to be happy and a good person in life. For me, I belong to God. My mission brief comes from God. It's remarkable how little I have planned in my life. Every step of the way is driven by being faithful to God's calling. But that's me. I'm not here to proselytize. You have to find that purpose that is bigger than you. 2, the 100-year life that many of us are going to face. When I was born in 1970, the norm at retirement age was 55 years old, and the life expectancy was around 69. Today, life expectancy is 84 years old for those dying today. For you, it'll probably be around at least 90 years old. So when we live so long, the way that we traditionally think about life is probably obsolete. For this, I urge you to read The 100-Year Life by Linda Grattan and Andrew Scott, a transformational book that I read, which really influenced me. So instead of thinking about education, career, and retirement as sequential, we need a much more flexible, multi-stage approach to living and working where individuals may transition between different careers, take breaks, and engage in lifelong learning, like the NUS president said. If you are working for more than 50 years, many of us would be, because we don't want to spend too much time, too much free time in retirement, you can't do the same thing throughout, especially with job obsolescence becoming faster. In short, you have many future selves. What you do right now is likely to be very different from what you do in 20 years. And we need to prepare and plan for these multiple career transitions, to save more for recreation rather than recreation, to nurture your intangible and transformational assets like self-knowledge and networks, to save more for sabbaticals rather than retirement. So I see my life in different stages. My first 17 years was in public service. The last 17 years was in the nonprofit and philanthropy sector. I just passed on to a new CEO on 1st July, so that's why I can take time off and be here with you. And in my second stage, the last 17 years, there's a lot more sabbaticals. I'm on a sabbatical now, discerning the next 17 years. The third is shared value. And you may, sometimes this is mentioned in the context of businesses. I think MBAs can do one thing better, challenge your students on how they show up in the world, right? We need to re-examine the purpose of wealth creation, look at the intersections of economic progress and social progress, commercial value and social value, or what we call shared value. So this means not just thinking about profit, about cost-cutting, beating the competition down, making people buy things they don't need. It's about solving problems in the world, using a commercial solution and embedding that social purpose within your organization. Focusing on social good can be profitable. I mean, for example, a recent report by Bain, I'm getting a lot more into the green and sustainability space. The report, Southeast Asia's Green Economy 2025, said that the green economy could create $120 billion US dollars in net economic value and generate up to 900,000 jobs in 2030 while shrinking the region's emissions. So there's a lot to do, but maybe we need to confront that and say, well, what can I contribute in terms of solutions, new solutions to the world, and not just in the environment space, but in other areas. But more than shared value, let me challenge you to be a community leader, not just a business leader. Let giving be part of your DNA and a natural part of your life, and focus on the legacy that you wish to leave your children, our children. To put everything together, if I were to give you one piece of advice, it is always to take time to step back, to review and reassess. Is your life's purpose aligned with your values, your calling? Are you flourishing as a human being? Are you preparing ahead for life's multiple transitions? Are you contributing to a larger societal good? Don't just be on the treadmill. We are often sucked into this, particularly in Asia and Singapore, and because everyone around us is also chasing the same thing. To end, it just leaves me to congratulate you again and wish you well as you begin your journey. Thank you, professors and NUS, for providing the platform and environment. Thank you, parents, for providing the support and encouragement. And thank you, each of you, graduates, for being you. Thank you very much.